Here are my top favourite bronzers for pale skin. And for reference, I have a neutral undertone, maybe slightly leaning olive or warm. So may as well start off with basically my favourite one. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. This is genuinely probably the most neutral bronzer I've ever tried for my particular skin tone. But what's so amazing about this is that it is very, very sheer. So if you're someone like me who finds when you apply bronzer, it's really obvious that you've applied bronzer, this is a perfect one for you because it's not obvious, but it still adds a touch of warmth to the skin. I also adore Mario's cream bronzer, but it went moldy in my old flat that had mold issues, sadly. Otherwise, I would 100% include that one too. Another incredible liquid bronzer is the Glossier Cloud Paint in the shade Sail. And actually, this is very, very similar to the Mario, just slightly warmer, but it still blends out incredibly beautifully. Again, not patchy, very subtle. The only reason why I'd maybe prefer the Mario one is because of the applicator, because this has a pump and a doe foot, but this one you have to squeeze it on your face or on your hand first. Next is the Merit Bronze Balm in the shade Clay. This is the one that I will take with me if I'm traveling anywhere because it's a stick format, so it's easy to transport, but also you can apply this straight to your face and blend it out. It doesn't take your makeup off underneath, it doesn't go patchy. The shade is really beautiful and really sheer again, so you can really build this one up. You don't need to worry about it looking too much. Next is the Sephora Collection Contour Stick. Now this is a contour on me, but I really wanted to include it because I do really like the formula and it is the coolest toned one. So if you are slightly cooler than me, this will work for you as a bronzer. Plus it's probably the cheapest on this list. Next, and this one's very underrated, but it's the Simi Haze Skin Suede. It's the Melting Bronze Balm in the shade Sycamore. Again, I will take this on holiday with me most of the time because it is so easy to transport because it's really small. And this is one of my everyday go-tos just because it's so easy to use, because you can dip your brush straight in it. So all of these ones you sort of have to apply to your face first, whereas this one is a really quick bronze and go. And the formula of this is very unique. Like, it's called a skin suede, and I would definitely say it's very suedey, so it's not going to give you as much of a glowy finish as some of these other ones. Next is the Nudestix Stacks. This is technically a blush collection, but they have one sort of bronzer shade, or at least on my skin tone it works as a bronzer, which is called Sunstone. This has a very balmy texture, and it's a little bit thicker than the others, which means that not as much pigment comes off, as you can see, which for pale skin is completely perfect because you know that you're not going to go wrong with this. The bronzers that I always have the most issues with are the super pigmented ones, because you have to be super careful with how much you apply, whereas with this one you really don't need to worry about how hard you're pressing your brush into it or dabbing off any extra on the back of your hand. This is truly probably one of the easiest bronzers to use for pale skin. Last but not least is the Refi Cream Bronzer in June. I've actually hit pan on this one. It's probably like the first bronzer I've hit pan on. To be honest, very similar reasons to the others, except this one is slightly more radiant looking than the other two. But what's really good about this one is that it has quite a red undertone, which at least on my sort of neutral pale skin tone really balances out that super yellowy look that a lot of bronzers can give you, or super grey look that a lot of contours can give you. Again, this isn't necessarily my favourite, but it's also slightly cheaper than some of these other ones, and it is really good. So those are all of my choices. As you can see, there's a huge range of undertone here. Hopefully at least one of these works for you, but as I said, I do think the Makeup by Mario is probably my favourite one. And thanks for watching.